Hello everybody, welcome to HopTopics. My name is Matthew.
I'm Cameron.
And this is where we talk about movies.
Beer.
And again, we're continuing our pandemic specials.
The pandemic special.
Today we're talking about Amazon Prime.
Amazon Prime?
Yes.
Indeed.
We're not talking about stuff you can rent, because you can, rent
a lot of stuff you can rent on Amazon.
Yeah.
A lot of stuff that they have had in the past that you can look up and be all like, hey, that'd be great to watch, and it's just, you can't even rent it.
Yeah, exactly.
Amazon's kind of an infuriating service to navigate and use, but there are some obviously great things on there, some great movies, TV shows, originals, and a lot of great, terrible movies.
Yes.
Just in looking up my list for things I wanted to talk about, or at the very least mention, I found so many movies that I would love to compile into a watch list, and when it is safe to do so, have a group of bad movie loving people together to watch such terrible movies.
We might stream it.
Yes, stream it, edit it together, and talk about the movies. Mm-hmm. Kind of rip off Red Letter Media and do their best of the worst kind of thing, except obviously we won't call it that or use the exact same format or anything like that. But
we'll call it most the least.
What can you most the least? But yeah, good movies, bad movies, god awful but still good movies and TV shows. Mm-hmm. We're gonna mention a little bit of everything today.
Yep. We're just gonna cross out a bunch of different wide-speaking genres, and hopefully you like it. Mm-hmm. And we'll also talk about the beer that we got today.
Oh yeah,
tasty.
It's Rogues Brewing, and it's called Bat Squatch. Rogues Brewing, based in Oregon. This is a hazy IPA, and I just took my first sip of it. It is juicy.
Oh yeah,
it is so juicy. But
we'll talk about that later.
Yeah, we'll get into that. First, some kind of quick lists, more of a honorable mentions sort of thing before we really dive into movies that we really want to talk about, which we'll probably even still mention said movies and shows in the quick list. But for TV, there's a lot of great stuff. Like I said earlier, navigating Amazon Prime is kind of a pain.
Yep.
It's you often have to find things by each season, and they're often not grouped together.
Oh yeah.
So if you want to binge watch a show, hopefully it's an original, because it can be very difficult. Or you can get through a lot of a show like Doctor Who. I noticed. You can watch most of it for free, but then the more recent seasons, you actually have to pay for to watch. Yeah. And I thought that was really lame. But Doctor Who, one of the shows that is available, SpongeBob SquarePants, the old school original series, is on there. I got Avatar: The Last Airbender, terrific show. Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood.
Can't go wrong with Mr. Rogers.
Love that show. Workaholics. Most Extreme Challenge, or MXC for short. Yep. Scrubs, Top Gear, and The Grand Tour, which is what they made after they stopped doing Top Gear. Community, which is on other streaming services as well, but it's on Amazon, so if you don't have those other ones. 30 Rock's on there, and then more originals or things that Amazon has kind of, a monopoly over, like Orphan Black. It's a great show. And then their originals, Carnival Row. I haven't actually watched most of that, but
it's good.
I've heard great things about it, and it's got Cara Delevingne in there, and I'm in love with her. And then, of course, the one that I'm definitely going to get a little bit more in-depth with The Boys.
Yep.
Gotta have that mention in there. What did you find for TV shows that I may not have already mentioned?
Not really much out. Like, I mean, I did find a bunch, like, like the funny one, like Gary Busey's Pet Judge. I thought that was pretty good.
I mean,
that was an interesting one.
Anything with Gary Busey.
Right,
Man, I would cut to the Family Guy clip right now. That wasn't a copyright claim right there. Hi, Gary Busey.
How are we doing today?
Oh man, so yeah, that's all I ever think about when I hear Gary Busey. That and freaking Point Break.
Yes, oh, dude, yes. That's really the only out of the ones for an honorable mention.
Yeah. Otherwise, you might want to get into
the list. Yeah, but yeah, we both did a list for movies and TV, and
I got way more movies on here than TV. Just even if I were just listing off things on here that I don't even want to get into detail but want to mention, it'd take me a minute to get through a lot of these. So like things that I just kind of want to highlight before we get more into them. Gladiator, True Lies, Dread, which was my pick before for Hulu, also in here. Boondock Saints, The Town, probably the only other movie from Ben Affleck other than Good Will Hunting that I would actually like repeatedly watch.
from Ben Affleck, yeah.
From Ben Affleck, yeah.
With Ben Affleck, I'd say Dogma.
Oh yeah, Dogma too.
Dogma.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
yeah. But he's not the star of Dogma. He's just in it.
But he's in there, yes.
I mean, he's a dominant figure in Dogma.
Oh, yes.
But you know, the story is more around Jay and Silent Bob and
Yeah.
the female protagonist.
Mm-hmm.
I think freaking oh man, why can't I remember his name? Professor Snape.
The Metatron.
The Metatron and Alan Rickman. That's right, Alan Rickman.
Ronald Weasley.
I think he's in just as much of the movie as Ben Affleck is.
Oh, and he's a great character too. So.
Oh, fantastic.
Oh wait, go ahead. Sorry.
RoboCop 1, 2, and 3, the original ones from the freaking 80s and 90s. The Running Man, Face Off. Well, we're going to talk about Face Off for sure. Fist of Fury, Bruce Lee movie.
Mm-hmm.
The Highlander, where a Scottish man plays a Spaniard.
No, he fights that against the Spaniard.
Yeah, but he's a Scottish man with a Scottish accent playing a Spanish character.
Yes.
Como estás?
Yeah, they couldn't just get like a Spaniard to play. I mean,
no, they had
no, they had to go.
Sean Connery.
Go with Sean Connery. Oh Lord.
Coming to America, accepted, Dazed and Confused, Tropic Thunder, both Harold and Kumar movies, Evolution, The Interview, Eurotrip, Something About Mary, Rat Race, Slam and Sam, Lock, Stock, and Two Smoking Barrels, Doctor Strangelove, Bad News Bears, both the original and the remake. Top Secret, Private Parts, Sharknado, just because, who doesn't want a little Sharknado in their life every now and then? Knives Out, Truman Show, Signs, Rocket Man, American Psycho, The Prestige, Reservoir Dogs, Dead Poet Society, and then a couple of just oddball ones. I was going to put Miami Connection, one of the classic terrible movies, but that was taken down since the last time I saw it on there. Same thing with Samurai Cop. That was taken off of there. You can't even, rent it.
Yeah.
But you can watch Samurai Cop 2, The Revenge of Samurai Cop. So, that's got Tommy Wiseau in there. Porky's, not really a great movie. It doesn't hold up today, but
No.
I remember watching that as a kid.
Yeah.
And so I'm like, hey, there's boobs in this movie. I like it. That was the entire reason I ever watched that movie.
Oh yeah.
And then Dragon Slayer, another movie that doesn't quite hold up as well because of really dated CGI and stuff and effects, but another movie that I watched as a kid and I loved it. Yeah. Oh, and Killing American Style. Terrible. Worse than Samurai Cop, but it's got its moments in there.
True.
Yeah.
Okay, well, let's see. So mine, I got Underworld, Expendables, Avengers, Beowulf, Cool World, Apocalypto, Warrior, The Core.
The Core.
It's a terrible movie, but it's really funny.
I've seen it.
Harold and Kumar, White Castle. Go to White Castle.
Yeah.
Shanghai Noon. Soul Plane. Also terrible movie, but like so many stereotypes.
Oh, yeah.
True Lies. Can't go wrong with True Lies.
Yeah,
True Lies is a good one. The King's Speech. The Lighthouse. Moulin Rouge. I love Moulin Rouge.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Zodiac. Zodiac was a good one.
Oh, yeah.
Rosemary's Baby. The Juror. The Juror.
The Girl.
That was with Alec Baldwin and Demi Moore. Yeah. It's not bad. It's actually pretty good.
Never seen it.
Yu-Gi-Oh! Dark Side of Dimensions. It wasn't a great Yu-Gi-Oh! Movie, but it was not bad.
Yeah.
Ghost in the Shell, the anime one, not the live action one.
Not the ScarJo.
No. Although I do like the Scarlett Johansson one, but I'm also
like
biased.
Johansson.
Exactly.
The movie could literally just be Scarlett Johansson stepping in dog crap for an hour and a half, and you'd still watch it.
Yeah, that's true. I'm not even going to deny that.
Yeah.
Final Fantasy, The Spirit Within, Steam Boy. Steam Boy was a great movie.
I don't think I ever saw that one, but I did notice it when I was scrolling through. I'm like, it looked kind of familiar.
The Collector, VHS, The Boogeyman, Maximum Overdrive, Train to Busan, House of a Thousand Corpses, You're Next, Hellraiser, All Hallows Eve, Texas Chainsaw. That's the one with Alexander Daddario, not the
older one.
The old ones. Yeah.
It's one of the many remastered.
Yes, exactly. And that's it for my movies.
Cool.
Yeah.
So, quick list that you can go over, pause. We'll put as many of them in the description as we can fit, as per usual. There's also movies on here that we've already reviewed, like Terminator Dark Fate. I'll put that in. That was pretty much it.
I think that might have been.
There's some of the older Marvel movies. But
yeah,
I didn't really bother. I put Avengers/Marvel movies, but I'm like, we're going to talk about Disney Plus later on, and really don't watch these on Amazon.
Yeah, exactly.
If you're going to give a giant company your money to watch Marvel movies, give it to the people that make Marvel movies.
Give it to the all-powerful Disney.
Yeah. But yeah, other than that,
I got a TV list.
Oh, that's right. You didn't go through your TVs.
I did not.
No, just me. Because I'm selfish and I like doing that.
Okay, well, for my TV list, there was Invincible, Hannah, Wayne, Farscape, Shaolin Chronicles, Sonic X, Monk, Alias, Tenjo Tenge, The Tick,
The Tick,
Russell Peters' Deported, The Bernie Mac Show, Andy Griffith Show, Mad About You, both the old and new seasons. What's New Scooby-Doo, Rocky and Bullwinkle, Psych, Hoarders, Miami Inc., Forged in Fire, I Shouldn't Be Alive, The Mentalist, How the Universe Works, Duck Dynasty, The Americans.
So you got a lot more reality slash.
Well, I put that in drama because they usually dramatize a lot of crap. So I mean, you gotta hook someone in there somehow.
So Yeah.
There's Vinland Saga. They actually had a decent amount of anime on here. Vinland Saga,
Yeah.
Elven Lied, Rage of the Bahamut, Totally Spies, Bobby's World,
Bobby's World, love Bobby's World.
Maiden Abyss, GTO, Kabanari of the Iron Fortress, Ronin Warriors,
Ronin Warriors, nice.
Kenichi, BuzzFeed Unsolved, Paranormal Encounters, Ghost Stories, 13 Nights of Elvira,
Nice.
UFO Files, Sasquatch Abounds.
Sasquatch Abounds. Another reason why we had to go with the
Sasquatch.
So many Sasquatch
There's so
shows
many.
and movies.
My dear
Oh my
God.
goodness. Like, honestly, if you want like the more notable movies that you're likely to watch, going through Amazon, same thing with TV shows, you don't need to go that far down the list. They put all the stuff that's like highly rated towards the top. It's designed in a way that you're not going to spend all day looking through all of these lists unless you're truly depraved, like we are.
Then you
there
make yourself
are
do it.
a lot, and I mean a lot, of shows about Sasquatch and Bigfoot that I wish I had written down some examples.
Yeah,
'Cause
I wish I wrote more.
there's quite a few, and I was frankly just really impressed with the dedication to Squatch.
Right. My last one is
So much fun.
Ghost Dimension. I like watching a lot of ghost like paranormal stuff. It's very entertaining for me.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's my list. That's all I got.
Cool. Well, before we go in more in depth about stuff we would actually want to talk about for movies, let's talk about this beer. For one, if you can't see it, boom! Look at that flipping can artwork. It's ridiculous. I love it. Very animated. Yeah, like I said earlier, Rogue Brewing, based out of Oregon. Sasquatch, hazy IPA, 6.7%. And actually what I love about this can that I was looking at earlier was on the back they have like a little star with like 5 common, predominant notes in beer. The top of it's tropical, and citrus, pine, bitter, and malt. Tropical is full, and I can definitely agree with that.
Mm-hmm.
It is super juicy. Citrus, not as much as that like bright citrus, more of that like, yeah, I was gonna get to that part too. More of that like, almost kind of, I don't know, like more like tropical citrus, I guess.
Pineapple.
As opposed to like
Mango or pineapple.
lime, lemon, and stuff like that. Yeah, more mango, pineapple, orange, kind of citrus.
Tangerine.
Barely any pine or bitters, as the
Yeah, no,
star
it's super
indicates,
juicy.
and that's definitely true. The juiciness cuts the bitterness almost completely out. You're not getting any super pininess or like potpourri kind of notes to it.
Yeah, not really floral.
It's very, it's not very floral. It's right there in that like juicy, citrusy realm, and then malts is like almost non-existent, which is definitely true. And then another cool thing, which actually somebody suggested this to me, was we go over like pairings of what kind of foods that you can enjoy with this beer. Not what kind of beer you can enjoy with your foods. Don't misquote me on that. It's what kind of food you can enjoy with your beer. Yeah. This one, very conveniently for us,
It's already good.
gives some decent suggestions. White cheddar, grilled salmon, and strawberry shortcake.
I can definitely see all those pairings being very well.
Yeah. And it's also making me realize that as much as I know about food and beer, I'm not very good with pairings. Be all like, yeah, I could drink this with a burger and maybe a steak or some chicken. some kind of sandwich. I honestly, I don't know where to begin with that kind of thing.
This would be good with like a, let's see, like a pastrami.
Yeah, super savory something with all that juicy goodness.
Like a very
contrasting,
like a very mild cheese, not to like overpower the meat and or the beer.
Yeah, and that makes sense with the white cheddar. Something not too crazy sharp or aged or ridiculous, but still something that can hold its own to a beverage.
Yeah,
strawberry shortcake, very
sweet
very
and
much on the
very
sweetness.
Yeah.
And then grilled salmon. It's kind of lending itself more towards like having that citrus kind of pairing with the salmon.
Easily.
As you would often put lemon with salmon, And this can be something that you have on the side with that. Yeah, I could definitely see that.
Oh yeah.
It's 6.7%. It's a respectable hazy. Not too high, not too low. It's kind of right there in that nice middle zone, in that 6.5 to 7.5 range. Yeah, it's a pretty solid beer. Definitely not a daily drinker for me, but definitely one where I'll keep the can.
Definitely.
The artwork is fantastic. That's entirely why I picked it up from the store. And we were going to do a different beer just because we couldn't really figure out anything to go with Amazon, and we're just going to be like, oh, we got this in the garage, let's use that. And I'm like, okay. I wasn't super stoked about it. And then I went to the store and I found this. I'm glad I found this. Although the other beer that we were going to choose, which I'm not going to reveal now because we might choose it later on, because we're lazy.
It might be down the line, because we are definitely lazy.
The other one we would have picked, I definitely would have said is more likely to be a daily drinker, or something I'm going to pick up more often. This one, I mean, the price range is in the mid-high tier. I think it was like $11.49 for the 6-pack. So it's not like ridiculous, but I do miss the days of being able to just buy like a $8-9 6-pack, and that was the good stuff.
we were good, yeah.
Yeah. Oh man, craft beer has really gone in expensive territories.
Yeah, they need to raise minimum wage.
Yeah. Well, there's just so many craft breweries around now. It's I can imagine distribution is very competitive. But yeah. How would you rate this beer? Like, Amazon does a star rating, so I guess we do stars.
We can do stars, yeah.
Or we can mention one of our more favorite terrible movies as our ratings. like
let's see.
Like we'll do like a 1 to 5 kind of scale, as we usually do when we rate our beers. But we'll just like reference some terrible trashy movie that you can find on Amazon.
I'll go in the middle. I'll say a 3.
3?
Like a 2.5 out of like 3, somewhere around there in the middle.
Yeah.
It's not something that I drink all the time, but it's got good flavors and it's very, very juicy, as you said. It's just looking for something a little more on the bitter side.
Yeah, I mean that's just our style, just in general.
Also, something with a little higher percentage.
Yeah, that is also more our style.
I like something that's a little higher. It's a little closer to the double digits.
Yeah, it gives you that bitter bite, and also just kind of just like.
I want to feel what I'm drinking.
Not bad.
3 maximum overdrives out of 5. Love that movie. That's a god awful movie. I love it.
But it's actually really enjoyable to watch. I'm right there with you. I think a 3 is pretty fair for it. It's in no ways a bad beer.
Oh no.
We've rated other beers that are much worse than this, more favorably. But going forward into 2021, I think with the awful experience we've had with 2020, we're going to be a little bit more bitter and judgy on our...
Yes, bitter hearts going forward.
Yeah. The year toughened our skins and toughened our hearts. And no longer shall we just give out 4s and 5s willy-nilly.
Yeah, willy-nilly.
Same thing with movies, too. New movies coming out. We're going to be a little bit more critical.
Yes.
But, yeah, I give this a 3. And I'll give it 3 Robert Czar's gigantic mandibles out of 5.
Alright.
Yeah. Famous B-movie actor that is a bad guy in Samurai Cop and also a bad guy in Killing American Style.
Yep.
You can't really notice his giant chin in Samurai Cop. But man, when you see him clean shaven, that thing is... And it's a genetic disorder.
He's got cherubism.
Yeah, not fun. But it made for him looking like an incredibly imposing character, if not goofy.
Plus, he was a good actor too. So I mean, like,
yeah, he wasn't terrible.
No,
I mean, if you watch Samurai Cop or Killing American Style, that acting is not great.
Well, I mean, it's not neither one of those is a great movie.
No, not at all. I almost want to do a video on Killing American Style just because the beginning is so insanely ridiculous. I watched it with my brother and it's just like they're pulling off a robbery and it's like they couldn't have stolen more than like $300. Even in the 90s, it's not a lot of money.
It's not a lot.
But anyways, I digress, and we should move forward with, talking about stuff that we actually care about and recommend. Just some of the highlights. What are some of your, absolute must-see TV shows that you listed on here?
TV shows? Let's see. A couple of the old ones I really like. Like, if you're going to go for, an older cartoon, Rocky and Bullwinkle.
Oh, Rocky and Bullwinkle's
never,
on there, yeah.
Never a bad choice.
I watched that a bit as a kid. I remember my mom really liking Rocky and Bullwinkle.
My dad loved Rocky and Bullwinkle,
Yeah.
so I used to watch it a lot.
So that was definitely... I didn't watch it a lot, and back when I did watch it, I was little, so I probably didn't pay a lot of attention to it, but I do remember parts of it. I remember watching the movie with Brendan Fraser.
Wait. That's not right.
What? Was that not it?
That's Looney Tunes, back in action.
That was...
I
thought there was a Rocky...
Robert De Niro was in that one, and so was...
What?
And so was...
Why do I remember Brendan Fraser in a Mountie outfit?
That's
what he was in?
That's Dudley Do-Right.
Oh, Dudley Do-Right. That's... Oh, man.
That's Dudley Do-Right. With the horse that rides
yeah,
backwards.
Yeah. That movie was terrible.
Snively Whiplash.
Yeah.
That was,
Oh, man. I'm learning things on my own video.
Yeah, Robert De Niro was in the Rocky and Bullwinkle movie.
Right, yeah. No,
there was actually a lot of cameos in that.
Now that I'm starting to think about it a little bit more.
There was John Goodman made a cameo in that. Keenan and Kel made a cameo in that.
I might have to go back and watch that movie just as a nostalgic refresher.
It's not a great movie, but it's not terrible. It's definitely a good It's definitely a good nostalgia movie.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna slam it.
Another old show, not super old, but Alias.
Alias?
The first couple seasons of Alias were actually really, really good. And Farscape.
Farscape.
I love Farscape.
All right.
And newer stuff like any of the comedies, like the comedy skits, the comedy shows that they have on there, they're all the stand-ups are great.
Yeah. Oh, there's a lot of stand-up comedy on here too.
Oh, dude, so many.
A lot of great comedians on there. So if you like stand-up comedy, definitely look out for some of those. I know Brad Williams.
Yeah.
Is a little person, does stand-up and absolutely hilarious.
Russell Peters.
Is on there. Yeah. There's quite a few. I didn't really write any down because I had already written down a ton. Like, this is front and back.
And that's a shortened list.
That's a shortened list. That's my amended list.
Yeah, like there's like anime that are put on there, like Vinland Saga, Elfen Lied.
Yeah, Elfen Lied I had put on my original list as well. I figured you would put it on yours so I wouldn't forget about it.
Also, if you're willing to watch a whole bunch of fan service, but really cool fight scenes, Tenjo Tenge.
Oh,
Love that anime. Great fight scenes, but there's a lot of fan service.
that's like 90% of the anime you watch.
That is also true.
Without any sort of recommendation or anything. If it looks like it's a fan servicey anime, he will just watch it regardless of quality.
I judge a lot of what's coming out in the season by the picture that I get.
Yeah.
I don't even read the synopsis. I just look at the picture and I'll be like, you know what, I'll give that 3 episodes.
Yeah. The classic, give it 3 episodes, and if it's not
If
worth
it's not
watching
worth watching after that, then you're done. Just move on.
As far as highlighting TV shows, I mean, we could do a whole video on The Boys. If you haven't seen The Boys, must watch, hands down. It had me within the first 3 minutes of the show. Plus the actress that plays his girlfriend at the beginning, I was just staring at her. I'm just like, where do I know this chick from? And it took me forever. And then Amazon has this great thing where if you just go down,
to the bottom.
it actually gives you a list of all the actors and actresses that are in the scene. And that is amazing. Like, if you're somebody like me who, watches a ton of things without memorizing a ton of things, then you often run into this problem of, hey, I recognize such and such, but I don't know where from. Mm-hmm. You can go down, look up their names, you can go through their IMDb and look through everything that they do and have done. And this chick was from Letterkenny, which was why I couldn't picture it, because Letterkenny's a Canadian comedy show. It's not that big. And then here's this girl that I was not expecting a Letterkenny actress to be in a superhero big budget TV show. Mm-hmm. So that was cool. I think my very first must watch, if you're going to go on there to A, laugh, and B, just be generally entertained, MXC, The Most Extreme Challenge. It is on the surface a Japanese game show. So very similar to the show Wipeout, where contestants go through obstacles or obstacle courses and often end up either in water or in mud or potentially
both.
Very injured. Yeah, and there's all sorts of goofy situations, and to put the cherry on top, they dub over it in English and give all these people great character names like Guy Ledouche, and just come up with hilarious lines and stuff. Every contestant that comes out, they all say something, and there's 2 teams, and they're all based on really weird subtypes. Like the trash workers versus the sewage workers. It's very, very ridiculous. I freaking love MXC. And you can see that on, it used to be on G4 back in the day. Tech TV before it was
Tech
G4.
TV before it was G4, yeah.
FX, I think, had it for a little
FX,
bit.
Yeah.
I think Comedy Central had it
for a while.
At a point. Mm-hmm. But yeah, you could find it randomly in weird places, and it's a fun show to watch. I recommend just giving it an episode or 2 just to kind of see if you like it, because I'm definitely going to be watching it over the next couple of weeks, for sure.
Now that I know it's on there.
Yeah, now that I know it's on there, I'm definitely going to be watching it. I mean, the original BBC Top Gear with...
the better Top Gear.
Oh, yeah. With James May, Richard Hammond, Jeremy Clarkson. Just, I mean, it's cool for, like, car people, but even if you're not into cars, it is so ridiculous, and, like, some of the skits that they do are so absolutely hilarious. And part of the reason why I wanted to buy a Toyota pickup was because they did a whole thing on how indestructible these freaking trucks are. And if you watch that episode, they literally put it on top of a building that's being demolished. And then with minor fixes and changes to the engine, it starts up. So the body is completely destroyed.
Completely mangled, but...
And it becomes a set piece for the rest of the series. But, and then the spiritual successor to Top Gear, to BBC's Top Gear after Jeremy Clarkson was fired, the Grand Tour, very similar to Top Gear, except instead of doing like celebrity guests, they do bits about how like celebrity guests are coming and then they get into some tragic accident. That's like the most standout part, and everything else that they do is exactly like
Top Gear, yeah.
Racing fast cars and going to different countries and driving exotic cars, or doing weird challenges with really cheap cars and trying to make amphibious cars, and it's just, oh man,
I think my favorite episode of Top Gear was when they took a car and they put like chandelier and like an old wood stove.
Yeah. And like they tried to make it all like fancy and stuff.
It was like the bougiest car. And it weighed so much.
Oh, yeah.
Like it was terrible. Like it was practically dragging on the ground. But it was so funny, especially watching him try to drive it, and then you just see the stove in the back.
It's like, it shows it from the back of the vehicle. As like the chandelier just like swaying crazily, stuff's falling all over the place. Oh man! And then anytime they do anything with caravans, which are mobile homes, or like trailers and stuff like that, always hilarious because they're very anti-caravan. They destroy them a lot on the show, and it's just fantastic. I think there's like 15 plus seasons,
something like that.
The BBC Top Gear. I don't think they have them all on Amazon, but watch what they got on there. Totally worth it.
Oh yeah,
anytime,
easily.
And then same thing with the Grand Tour.
Mm-hmm.
I think those are my three main picks: MXC, Top Gear, the Grand Tour, and then of course the boys.
The boys, yeah.
I also do want to give like a shout out to Orphan Black. I never finished watching it or continued to watch it. I just didn't have Amazon Prime for a long time, and I never picked it back up after I got it again. But the main actress is incredible. She plays multiple different characters of multiple different different countries of origin, like German, Russian, English, like all sorts of crazy stuff, and she's fantastic. If we watch the show for any reason other than the mystery, intrigue, incredibly attractive people, watch it just because of her. She's incredible. Let's talk some more about movies now.
Yeah.
The main draw of our channel.
Yes, which we will eventually go back to, but like
the topics part of HopTopics.
We gotta talk about like stuff that's on streaming service because a lot of people are still at home. So
movie theaters are still not open, or the ones that are extremely limited capacity. So you're mostly stuck watching movies on demand or at home, which we'll definitely get to more of the newer movies when we get into HBO.
Well, we get into the HBO and like Disney Plus will have a couple because Black Widow, and yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, there's a ton of great movies. There's a ton of very average but still enjoyable movies, and there's absolute dump truck full of garbage movies that I will still watch.
Mm-hmm. Same.
Yeah, I mean, just from my quick list, I mean, movies that I want to kind of highlight, the Boondock Saints. We'll probably do a video on that at some point.
Eventually, yes.
Yeah.
Probably in March.
Next month. Gladiator, award-winning film, Best Picture winner.
Very good movie. Very good movie.
Action, all sorts of crazy stuff. Very cool movie. Dazed and Confused.
Can't go wrong with that
I
movie.
love that movie.
It follows a bunch of stoners and Matthew McConaughey.
It's got Matthew McConaughey in it.
That's where he started the alright.
The phrase you'll commonly hear if you work with us. Yeah, Dazed and Confused is one of those movies where, like, my mom and dad love it because they grew up and they went to high school at the same time. Like, you know, it's very, you know, nostalgic for them. I love it just because the characters are great, and, you know, the whole feeling of the movie is awesome and very, you know, like, there are some things that are timeless, and, you know, being a kid at the beginning of summer, it's one of the most timeless things ever.
Plus, there's like a lot of good actors that are in that movie that are good, that are like more prominent now.
Yeah. I mean, Matthew McConaughey is the big name.
Big one, yeah. But there's also like there's Ben Affleck is in it.
Ben Affleck's in it.
Mila Jovovich.
Oh, what's his name? I can't remember his name. The freaking one of the nerdy guys.
Oh yes.
More prominent in directing and stuff.
Yes. I can't remember his name, but yes. But like, watch the movie, Dazed and Confused. Great, it's fantastic. It's a great movie. Plus, it's got a bunch of stoners in it.
Yeah, and you know, who doesn't love stoners?
Exactly. We'll probably talk about that in April.
Absolutely. For what reason I couldn't possibly fathom, but we'll probably talk about it.
I have no idea, but in April sometime.
Yeah, same thing with March. Like, we'll do the Boondock Saints in March, and we just feel like it, okay?
Yeah.
It has nothing to do with holidays that happen in that month.
No.
Nothing at all.
Yeah.
Coming to America, I just kind of wanted to bring that up because, one, it's a hilarious movie. A lot of amazing actors. Obviously, Eddie Murphy and Arsenio Hall are the two main actors, but Samuel L. Jackson pops up in that. James Earl Jones, a.k.a. Darth Vader, is Eddie Murphy's father in that. And just, it's just a funny movie.
Plus, Coming to America 2 is coming out soon.
Yeah. Coming to America 2, which might be another video for us.
I'm pretty sure they got almost everybody to come back for the movie too.
Yeah,
So.
Eddie Murphy, Arsenio,
James Earl Jones.
Like, I wouldn't even be surprised if Samuel Jackson popped up in there again. Like, it really would not surprise me one tiny bit.
If he's working at the store, that'd be the best.
If he's working at a McDonald's.
Yes, if he's working there, that'd be the best.
Oh, that would be so good.
That'd be the best, like, callback ever.
Yes. Yes, absolutely.
Because he's got to wear the stupid outfit, too.
Well, yeah. But, you know, he's just a robber in the first one. And
yeah,
gets his ass kicked.
He's credited as Guy with Gun.
Guy with Gun. Gets his ass kicked by a freaking mop handle. A very underrated movie, Slammin' Salmon. It's another Broken Lizard movie. Beer Fest and Super Troopers guys did this movie. It's not as good as those two movies, but man, it's got some really funny scenes in there, and the overall premise is just pretty funny, and it's Broken Lizard. Like, how can you go wrong?
You know what you're getting into with Broken Lizard. I mean, every time.
Every time. A movie that we can probably dedicate, like, hours to Doctor Strangelove with Peter Sellers playing multiple characters. That movie is just... It's just amazing. I would rather do a throwback video on that than talk about it anymore.
Yeah. We'll probably do that too.
Just for ridiculousness' sake, Face Off.
Again.
Again, because...
Why not?
You can never mention Face Off enough.
Yeah, Nicolas Cage needs to be mentioned as often
Also,
as possible.
there's a lot of bad Nicolas Cage movies on Amazon Prime. I was going through. And like a lot of recent ones too. A lot of recent ones where he's more embracing how weird he is. Like I feel like in the 90s and early 2000s, or most throughout the 2000s and early 2010s, he was going through a lot of streaks of just being bad in movies. Now he's like being bad in movies with like a purpose. Like it's very much more driven. Like it's almost like these movies are written around him being him.
Being him, yeah.
So, could be some of those to look out for. I haven't really seen any modern Nicolas Cage movies. Mandy would
probably be the most recent one.
Yeah, which is another movie that we should probably do on this channel.
We still need to watch Willy's Wonderland.
Willy's Wonderland, yeah. Yeah.
Well, we may need to do a video about that, but
yeah. I mean, we could do multiple videos on weird Nicolas Cage movies.
Yes, but we may have to have a guest star on one of our Nicolas Cage videos.
I feel like if we did Mandy, we should have Carter as a guest star, and if we did Con Air or Face Off, we should have Andy.
No, we should do The Rock.
The Rock.
The Rock
it's like Andy's favorite movie.
Yes.
What else can you point out? Because I can point out things all day.
Well, I'm gonna point out just a couple. Cool World, very underrated, live action mixed with animation, kind of like Who Framed Roger Rabbit, starring Brad Pitt.
Oh.
And yeah,
I've never seen this movie, so
I love that movie. It's not a great movie, but like it's really entertaining, especially the way that like they talk about like why humans are not really allowed in like the cartoon world, and they should keep it separate. But yeah,
it's kind of like going a little bit more into the politics of Who Framed Roger Rabbit rather than like,
exactly
the actual story of it.
Exactly. Also, Evolution comedy.
You know
Love
what?
that movie.
I was actually just looking down at my list and I saw that and I'm like, man, I kind of want to talk about Evolution a little bit.
Love that movie.
Like, we quote this movie on the daily. Like, it's a movie that, up until very recently, I hadn't watched since it was on the movie channels, like, just after it came out.
Yep.
And I think that movie came out in, like, the early 2000s, like 2001,
like,
2002 or something like that.
Something like that, yeah.
Can't quote me on that, but...
My whole family quotes this movie, by the way.
It's... I mean, come on. Tuki tuki.
I think we've established that ka and tuki don't work.
But yeah. Dang, that movie's hilarious.
It is.
David Duchovny, Sean William Scott. I mean, and for some reason I'm skipping on the black guy's name. He was big at that time too. He wasn't like big, but he was definitely more well known.
He was the 7-Up guy.
Was it D.L. Hughley?
No, that's somebody else.
I can't
remember his name.
Oh man,
but I feel bad. But like
maybe if we get tech savvy, somehow we'll flash it on the screen and just be like, "Hey, idiots, this is his name." I'll look even more stupid because I said somebody else's name entirely.
My last one is The Collector.
The Collector.
It's a horror movie where a guy is trying to come up with money to pay his ex-wife, and he tries to steal from his new employer, but somebody's also planned to, I guess, kill those people, has set up a bunch of strange traps and devices and stuff like that. So he has to navigate through all these things. So it's really interesting, and it's very, very cool, like, trying to figure out, like, how he gets through all these things. And, keeps you open for the second one.
Nice. As I look through my list, I'm seeing more movies that I want to just kind of bring up in a little bit more detail, and one of them that I've been looking down at, Lock, Stock, and Two Smoking Barrels.
Mm-hmm.
That's in one of the older Guy Ritchie movies, along the lines of Snatch and Rock and Rolla. It's
both great movies.
Both great movies.
Mm-hmm.
And Layer Cake.
Layer Cake, yeah, also a great movie too.
Yeah, it's just, and it's got like the same formula to it as all of those other movies, where the ragtag band of, misfits gets something or another, or involved with, big boss guy, and, it seems like everything's just going to crap for them, and then all of a sudden at the end they win.
Mm-hmm. You gotta crawl through, like, a bunch of crap,
Mm-hmm.
and then come out the other side clean.
But great movie, super British, lots of funny parts, lots of quick talking, quick quips.
Mm-hmm.
Very entertaining movie. I also wanted to bring up Top Secret.
Mm-hmm. Again,
because I can never get enough of that movie. I freaking love that movie. There's a whole, like Val Kilmer plays a character that's supposed to be like an Elvis character,
mm-hmm.
and all of the songs that we're introduced to at the beginning of the movie are all about skeet shooting, which, if you don't know, it's when they throw the clay, plates in the air and they shoot them. Like, skeet surfing is the music video that they played at the beginning of that movie. And I'm just like surfing, throwing up weights and shooting. It's the stupidest thing, but it is so funny when you're not expecting it, and then you rewatch the movie and see all those things that you missed, and it's so funny. Private Parts, it's the Howard Stern...
Love that movie.
Autobiography, basically.
Mm-hmm.
Great movie, lots of funny parts. Paul Giamatti is in it, and he's fantastic in it. Knives Out is a newer movie.
Also good.
That has Daniel Craig and Chris Evans in it, both of whom I love. Great movie, lots of twists and turns and mystery and comedy and all sorts of fun stuff. So definitely worth checking that out.
Mm-hmm.
Mentioned this in another video, but the Truman Show. Oh, it's just wonderful. Mm-hmm. It really is. I haven't seen it, but I've heard so much about it that I put it on my list anyways. Rocket Man.
Oh, so good.
Elton John.
Oh, yes.
Life dramatization.
Oh, yeah.
Starring Taron Egerton.
Oh, so good, though. So good. You really gotta watch it.
I'm going to. Now that I know it's on there for free, I'm going to watch this movie.
Mm-hmm.
Dead Poets Society. Another movie that we mentioned before, but it's just wonderful. If you haven't seen it.
It really is.
Watch it.
Give it a shot.
Seriously. You know what? Instead of our normal cheers, let's just go out with a nice... Oh,
Captain, my Captain. This has been HopTopics. Cheers.